Statues, I think, are not simply lumps of bronze and stone. They are political pronouncements, frozen avatars of piety, of public mythology. And so it should be no surprise that they attract both garlands and graffiti in equal measure. And when we're celebrating the toppling of Saddam Hussein's statue in Baghdad in 2003 as a moment of liberation, the call for criminal charges when protesters chalked trans rights, human rights on the plinth of Jan Smuts. We're not defending history, we're choosing sides. And throughout history, statues have served as cultural battlegrounds. In ancient Rome, those condemned under the damnatio memoriae had their faces chiselled off or their heads removed on public monuments. In Reformation England, Protestant zealots decapitated saints in cathedrals. In revolutionary France, statues of kings were torn down to make way for liberty trees and guillotines. And the heads of the prophets on the Notre Dame were removed because they thought they were French kings. In 2003, with cameras rolling, the US tanks helped pull down Saddam's statue in Firdos Square. We didn't just allow it, we helped broadcast it as a triumph. So let's be clear. To deface a statue is not a new crime, it's an old conversation, one we've had for millennia, about who deserves honour and who deserves public space. And this weekend, trans rights activists in Westminster protested about the Supreme Court's ruling on the definition of a woman. 7 statues were marked, draped or chalked. No heads were severed, no marble shattered, but among the markings a heart on Millicent Fawcett's banner, slogans around Jan Smuts, and a trans flag fluttering from the statue of Lord Palmerston. And yet the political response was immediate and fierce. The Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp called for the protesters to be branded as simply criminals. The Justice Secretary demanded arrests. Yvette Cooper condemned disgraceful and criminal damage. The Met pledged to deploy special cleaning equipment, perhaps the modern replacement for the guillotine. But I ask, what do we fear more? Graffiti or the idea that the stories these statues tell are not fixed? Damaging public property may well be a legal offence, that's clear. But so too is the selective outrage with which the law is enforced. No one was prosecuted for wrapping Churchill in a rainbow flag during Pride. No tanks rolled in when Edward Colston was adorned with protest stickers before being toppled into Bristol. And yet now, when a chalked slogan intersects with identity politics, we hear calls for tougher legislation and custodial sentences. The inconsistency betrays a deeper anxiety, not about damage, but about disruption. Disruption of the narrative, disruption of heritage, disruption of control over national myth. Statues are not neutral. They are commemorations. They are curated by the elite and rarely reconsidered by the people who walk past them. Well, we should consider them. They are, we are walking through history when we walk through a parade of statues. Jan Smuts was a liberal in South African terms, but helped shape the apartheid state. Churchill defeated fascism, but also defended empire. Millicent Fawcett fought for votes for women, but said little about women of colour or class. So, when protesters engage with these statues, through chalk, flags or costume, they're not erasing history, they are interrupting it and interpreting it, asking questions about who we honour and why, and at what expense, whose expense. To prosecute that is to prosecute not just graffiti, but dialogue, to challenge history-making. So we should be cautious about our call for arrests. We cannot cheer the fall of tyrants abroad and criminalise chalk at home. Statues have always been contested. They are public mirrors reflecting who we think we are and what we choose to remember. And the chalk will wash off. The flags will be folded away, but the questions they raise about gender, memory, justice, power, those remain. And perhaps they are more enduring than any statue ever will be.